the Binance chain than he is his tokens that are part of the Ethereum side. And the only reason that you can legitimately provide to answer that question is the adoption rate of people jumping in there on the Binance side and buying $100 here, $500 there, maybe 1,000, maybe 20, maybe 10. Okay. If that adoption rate continues to grow and we get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of more people buying on the Binance side, even though individual purchase is fairly small, you add all those individual purchases together, and now you got a pretty respectable quantity of FEG being purchased, transferred, sold, whatever. And that burn rate kicks in based on that quantity. And now the rewards keep rolling into us, as well as the burn rate continues to accelerate. So even though we jokingly go back and forth at each other with respect to who is ultimately going to turn out correct, I personally think that the real answer is going to be some proportion between my point of view and his point of view. And we both will readily agree that neither one of us has the first freaking clue what that proportion is actually going to be when we finally get to that point. And thank you in advance for your acknowledgement that I killed the conversation yet again.
Nah, you didn't kill it. I'm listening. I got you. It's just taking it all in, just trying to take it all in.
I hear you. I hear you. Oh, it's just a running joke amongst the voice mods. Nobody can kill a conversation quite like Paul Nick. I mean, he's a master at that because he's been at it for so long. You would expect that from a crusty old fart like Paul. Come on. I think it's kind of funny. So, who else would like to voice their opinion with respect to how much tea there is in the entire mainland of China?
I would like to ask a question about wrapping.
Fire away.
Okay, so I'm in a chat right now, and a guy saying to wrap your coins or whatever. I mean, do we have the ability to wrap anything now? Like, can I wrap Feast right now?
I would have to go to the frap.com website and see what available coins are currently listed on that website. But this very question came up earlier today, and it was a source of minor, genuine contention because of the lack of understanding. And the question pertains to, what about the native tokens that are neither a Ethereum-based token, which is an ERC20, or a Binance Smart Chain token, which is a BEP20? How are you going to FRAP a token that the Ethereum side or the Binance side doesn't recognize? And the short answer is you can't. What you have to do is bring to your wallet either an Ethereum conversion of that token that you want to bring to the FRAP, or a Binance conversion of that token to the FRAPing website, so that the website can actually see those respective tokens. So, for example, there's a term called pegged. There are any number of tokens that can be considered Binance pegged. And then there are other tokens that can be considered Ethereum wrapped, whatever. You have to take that slightly modified contract, which is actually a separate contract address for that purpose. You have to have that already populated into your wallet. So when you go to fegwrap.com and you attach your wallet to the website, that the website could actually see those compatible coins for whatever side of the blockchain you want to FRAP to, so that you can continue the process of FRAPing. But I've already spit out 4 things that were wrong yesterday and 2 today. So I'm thoroughly prepared to be told yet again, Paul, you're full of shit, with respect to my understanding of precisely how this works. So if anybody else here has had any direct experience with the FRAP feature and would like to chime in, please do.
So crickets.
Yep, crickets.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so basically, because I have about a trillion in feast that I have just sitting. I haven't even farmed it. I've been sitting on it for a couple of weeks, and because I wanted to kind of wait and see what the new developments with the exchange had to offer. So um that's something I guess I would want to do if it or when it becomes possible, is go ahead and I guess peg that feast, because I have it on the Ethereum side, peg that ETH, send it over to the Feg exchange, and wrap my feast and see what comes out of it. I'm kind of trying to diversify myself, and not just because I already have three things in the farm right now. So I want to kind of wrap something or stake something and see what that comes about.
I'm going to partially agree with you. You actually rattled off some specific steps to accomplish that task. And I can't tell you those steps are correct or not, but your general approach, I believe, is correct.
Okay. All
But I
right.
can't tell you, I can't tell you the best way to do that is to connect to Feg.exchange, or if it's better to connect to frap.com. Because essentially what frap.com is, it's the functional equivalent of connecting to our exchange and tapping on the frap button. But right now, for programming reasons, that feature is not yet implemented. So in order to get this option out there and available to people so they can start making money, FegRox decided to open a separate website that has that same functionality, and that's frap.com.
Okay.
So my
Nice.
recommendation is anybody that wants to wrap some of these interesting and bizarre pairs, they should concentrate on being on frap.com, in my opinion.
10-4. That works. Yeah, that's a good answer and suggestion as well. I'm gonna go ahead and do that and just mess around with it and see what comes out of it, and see if I can
You
get
know,
this
if you
little.
have if you have any general success doing that, would you mind coming back to voice chat and sharing your experience? Because there's a bunch of us that like to know, including some of us voice mods.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You bet, bud.
Hey, Paul, I got a question for you, and I know you're
Fire away.
tired of talking about it. I know you are.
Fire away, bud.
New guy in front of me. I keep telling him buy Feg, buy Feg, buy Feg, but he's asking why out of all the trillion or thousands of tokens out there. And last night I had someone else that was listening in. They answered, and I have someone else again. But since because I'm new to the crypto world, I don't know how to explain it well enough to where I can necessarily sell it to him, not sell it to him, but just give him a detailed description about why. Any way possible you can just give them a basic rundown, just a quick one, because I know there's people just listening and probably don't want to hear it again.
You wanna bring him in?
Yeah, he's listening right now.
Oh yes, okay. Who am I speaking to?
This right here is Jeremy.
Jeremy. Okay. Where do I find Jeremy? Is he way down on the bottom of the list?
No, he's actually in front of me, like in person.
Okay. In person. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's here. He's listening.
All right. All right. Hi, Jeremy. How you doing, bud? So if the voice chat, one moment, please. Let me mute Kalaselvan momentarily. Kalaselvan, dude, you came in and over blasted out one of our current conversations, so I had to unceremoniously mute you, but not out of spite, but out of concern that we want to keep our voice chat civil and helpful. So I'm going to continue answering this current question, and then in a few moments, well, maybe a few more, because I'm known for being long-winded, I will unmute you and we'll address your question. Okay. So if the voice chat's not that busy, then I'll go ahead and lay out my spiel about Feg. If it's real busy, then I typically tell the individual go to fegtoken.com. Once again, that's fegtoken.com. That's the URL for our main website. And on that website in the upper right corner, there are three horizontal bars that represents the pull-down menu. Either click or tap on it. And on the left-hand side, about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see a line that says FAQ, which stands for Frequently Asked Questions. That's a marvelous document from the standpoint that it's not particularly technical. It just lays out the basic idea behind FEG, how the project got started, what its tokenomics are, and so forth. And the benefit in reading through that is you will collect a bit of vocabulary that you will not have been exposed to until you read the FAQ. Where's the advantage there? Well, armed with that new vocabulary and the basic ideas, then you can come back to voice chat and you can pummel us with detailed and specific questions such as, yeah, well, what about this? And yeah, what about that? Now, the document doesn't explain that. And that's what we're here for. But since the voice chat is not terribly burning up a storm right now, I'm going to explain to you that the FEG project started the last week in January. It's only 3 months old. The project is described on the website as a experimental deflationary token economics and is also community driven. In other words, there are no official owners of this project. When the project first started, there has to be an owner with respect to the tokens. Otherwise, the blockchain won't let you register that token in the blockchain. And at the same time, the owners, or actually mainly FegRox, our lead dev, created this nebulous black hole of a wallet. And moments later, after he registered everything, he renounced ownership of both the FEG contract and the wallet. And he made sure in building his code that there are no backdoors in the code that allows anybody to sneak in behind and take control over the tokens or the black hole of a wallet. Why did he do that? Well, this particular lead dev of ours has participated in over 84 different DeFi projects at various levels, depending upon his programming skill at the time. And unfortunately for him, he has participated in some projects that eventually turned out to be rug pulls through no fault of his own. But that still made him feel exceptionally bad because here he is working in good faith, thinking that this is going to be a viable project and some nefarious characters go in and steal all the money. So when he finally came to the point in his career where he could actually start his own project, one of the primary precepts, if not the number one precept, is what's called fair use. Okay. And what fair use simply means is everybody gets treated fairly. There is no insider information sent out to the devs or to the admins. There is no special favors. Everybody is an equal member from an ownership perspective. Now, that's not the same thing as the respective responsibilities that have been adopted by particularly the earliest members that have purchased the FEG, because you got to have some kind of organization in order to make a project develop. But as far as the fair use is concerned, FegRox does not have any more official control over this project than I do. It's all community driven. So let's get back to this deflationary token idea. What this means is that over the course of time, every time somebody buys, sells, transfers, or sneezes at their FEG, other than just keeping it in the wallet and leaving it there, a 2% tax is exacted on that transaction. Half of that tax, meaning 1%, is sent off to this black hole of a wallet that helps to accelerate the deflationary tokenomics. And the other 1% is divided up amongst all of the previous token holders, previous and current token holders. So why does that matter? Well, as time goes on and people purchase, transfer, control, well, not control, but manipulate the token, that burn rate is going to accelerate. And as it accelerates, the total amount of circulation is going to shrink. What happens when you have a static demand chasing after fewer and fewer resources? And the short answer is the classic law of supply and demand kicks in, and the price of your asset goes up. But on top of all that, what happens when you have a deflationary tokenomics? And in this case, it's actually listed in the FAQ as hyper deflationary because of that nebulous black hole that accepts that 1% of the 2% tax. It's going to accelerate that burn rate. Over the course of time, as less and less tokens are available in open circulation, the price of those tokens are going to increase. If you get in early enough, you've got a respectable bag of tokens, then for all intents and purposes, if that's all you want to do is just own the tokens and watch the rewards roll in, you're going to make money because there's only one direction the price of this token can go. Now, that doesn't mean if you're watching a chart that the price is going to go up and stay up. No, no. This is still market psychology. People are going to buy, people are going to sell. Small to medium whales are going to come in and manipulate the price and scare people out of their bags and all that sort of thing. But that happens in the stock market, annuities, stocks, bonds, gold, silver assets. That's just market psychology. But if you're wise to the game, what you'll do as a rational investor, you're going to buy your FEG and you're going to hang on to it. So that's part of the deflationary process. Then, on top of all that, we have this new critter that's part of our overall project called an exchange. And this is a swapping exchange, which is not really any functional difference between that and Uniswap and Pancake. You may already be familiar with those two exchanges. But what makes our exchange unique is our exchange combines the functionality of Pancake and the functionality of Uniswap into one exchange. So what's happening with our exchange is it's rapidly being developed into a one-stop shop exchange for both Ethereum and Binance. And then on top of that, because our lead dev is like a money-creating nightmare for the admins and the voice mods. I mean, he sits down, he comes up with an idea, he writes the code, and he implements it faster than we can document what he did and disseminate that to the population. Now, my personal opinion is that is a marvelous problem to have to deal with, okay? Because that means he's coming up with all kinds of cool features. And I don't want to spend the time here now to go into those individual aspects that is going to generate additional revenue for people, other than to point out that as part of this original design, it was always intended to create an exchange, because that deflationary technique is only going to last so long until the price of the token gets to be so damn high that there aren't going to be that many people willing to buy in sufficient quantities to keep that burn rate cruising along like it is right now. But by that time, we, meaning the FEG owners, will be so familiar with the exchange and will be taking advantage of so many different opportunities for passive income that the additional passive income that we started earning at the beginning of the project is, for all intents and purposes, going to become fairly irrelevant. Now let's fast forward. With the exchange, that's one of our the primary money-making tool for the moment, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to be expanding into NFTs. We're going to be expanding into gaming. We're going to be expanding into videos. And that's just what the devs and the admins have dreamed up thus far. And as far as I know, there may be 10 other things in the pipeline that we eventually want to work on that I know absolutely nothing about. Why? Because I'm having a hard enough time just talking about the stuff they've already put out there. Much less fill my mind up with all this new and cool and great stuff to make additional money. So the last thing I want to point out is our token, because of the price of the token, the price was so low that we fell into a previously established category of what's known as, and I'll put it in my personal terms, a shite coin, and I'll let you translate that as you wish. We are far from a shite coin. We were never the shite coin. We were never intended to be a shite coin, and we will never be a shite coin. Well, that's where our current marketing effort is going to take off. Because with the fine tuning of the current exchange and the way it is, and its usefulness growing by leaps and bounds, our full blown professional quality marketing team has already started the process of reaching out to influencers, content providers, YouTubers, TikTok people, that sort of thing, to slowly roll out to the entire population of the world, not just crypto, that, hey, there's this new thing out there. It's called FEG, and it is freaking awesome. And I firmly believe in my heart of hearts that this FEG project is going to reinvent the entire landscape of DeFi, and that the individuals and projects that are trying to emulate what we're doing right now are going to wind up falling by the wayside because they're not going to be able to, number one, copy us. And even if they manage to sort of kind of copy us, they'll never be able to keep up with us. And it's going to literally reinvent the entire landscape of DeFi. And one of the newest terms that's come out with respect to our project is what's called smart DeFi. And that has to do with a new token that FegRock's unleashed upon the world. But that you will also find in the FAQ. So I'm going to use one of my time-honored phrases that I use on a regular basis, at least 20 times a day. And that is, I'm going to stop talking now. And I'm going to give your friend an opportunity to relay his or her more specific questions to me in case he would like to offer any clarification questions.
Yes. Why only 1% burn? Why not 1.5? Why not 0.9?
Okay. How familiar are you with partial differential calculus?
I am not familiar at all with it.
Okay. How familiar are you with standard integral and differential calculus? Okay. Calculus is the premier of traditional 19th century mathematics that provides individuals the opportunity to calculate what's called rate of change. Okay. The deflationary mechanism that's built into our project is a rate of change. Our devs have access to a wide variety of experts that some of them are mathematicians, and they all sat down in the very beginning before they ever got started, and they said, okay, we know what has kind of sort of worked in the past. How can we improve it so that it's going to work even better now doing this level of tokenomics? And they crunched all the numbers and they said, we're going to have hyperdeflation. We're going to have X number of circulation out there. We're going to do all these wonderful and different techniques. And based upon that, crunching the numbers using rates of change with respect to extemporaneous variables, that's where the partial differentials come in. They came up with this method. Now, I'm a retired engineer, so I'm familiar with calculus. I'm familiar with partial differentials. And as a perfect disclaimer, I was doing fine till I took my partial differential calculus class, and that class just kicked my ass. Okay. That was the end of my mathematics strength. Okay. But I have a fundamental idea of why it was invented and how valuable it is in establishing the proper parameters for any kind of effort that is going to involve things like a hyper deflationary tokenomics process. And I firmly believe that these guys really, really, really gave this project some serious ass consideration and talked to some really serious ass people with respect to what's the best way to set this up to maximize our success. Next question, please.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, JG, I couldn't quite hear you, bud.
The last part you said, you cut out.
The last part I said was, do you have any further questions, clarification questions, based upon the answers I provided thus far?
No, sir. You answered everything. I appreciate you for your time.
You're very welcome, and thank you for the question. I appreciate it.
Hey, Paulie Wally, how are you getting on?
You guys that started this Polly Wally shit, I'm going to personally hunt your ass down. I swear to God.
Wally.
That's funny. I haven't heard that since elementary school, to be honest with you. What's up, guys? Go ahead and
I
post
have
your
a
question.
question about what could there possibly, like, what would you suspect the possible partnership with NASA could be about?
By partnering with an organization that has, number one, worldwide appeal,